Long before the first ship ever touched the shores of America, this land was already alive, filled with nations, languages, and stories. From the icy north to the dry deserts and endless plains, millions of people lived here, the indigenous tribes who called this land home for thousands of years before it was ever called the United States. They built thriving societies, from the Iroquois in the northeast, who formed one of the world's first democratic councils, to the Navajo, Apache, and Pueblo peoples of the southwest. In the plains, mighty tribes like the Sioux and Cheyenne followed great herds of buffalo, and in the southeast, the Cherokee and Creek farmed fertile lands. Each nation had its own culture, belief system, and government. They traded, they fought, they built, all long before Europeans ever arrived. Then came the ships, first the Spanish, then the French, Dutch, and finally the British. By the 1600s, Britain had set up colonies along the Atlantic coast, 13 in total. The settlers brought new technologies and trade, but also diseases that devastated indigenous populations and wars that pushed them off their lands. While native tribes struggled to survive the changes, the British colonies grew stronger, building cities, farms, and trade routes. But tension was brewing between the colonies and Britain itself. For years, the colonies lived under British rule, paying taxes and following laws made in London, without having a voice in the decisions. When King George III and Parliament started enforcing heavy taxes like the Stamp Act and Tea Act, the colonies finally said, "Enough." In 1773, the Boston Tea Party became the spark that lit the fire of rebellion. By 1775, gunfire erupted at Lexington and Concord, and the American Revolution began. A year later, on July 4, 1776, the leaders of the 13 colonies signed the Declaration of Independence. Written by Thomas Jefferson, it boldly stated that all men are created equal and that governments should exist to serve the people. It was a statement that would echo far beyond America, even if the country itself didn't yet live up to those words. The war was long and brutal. The colonists were outnumbered and under-equipped, but with determination and help from France, they turned the tide. In 1781, British General Cornwallis surrendered at Yorktown, and by 1783, the Treaty of Paris made the United States an independent nation. But freedom brought new problems. The first government system, the Articles of Confederation, fell apart quickly, too weak to hold the new nation together. So, in 1787, America's leaders met again to write the Constitution, a stronger framework built on ideas of liberty, justice, and balance. George Washington became the first president, and the United States began its long, imperfect journey toward becoming what it is today. Still, it's important to remember, the story didn't start in 1776. It began thousands of years before, with the indigenous nations who first cared for this land. The formation of the United States was not just a birth, it was also a collision of worlds, dreams, and struggles that continue to shape the nation's soul. If you found this story eye-opening, don't scroll past. Like, share, and follow for more powerful stories that reveal how our world was truly built.